Newt, you're up next. That's an unusual one. What Mr. Scamander fears above everything else is...
Having to work in an office, sir.
Go ahead, Newt.
Ridiculous.
Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald is directed by David Yates and is the sequel to the 2016 movie Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And both are prequels to the Harry Potter movies. For those not following along, Yates also directed the first Fantastic Beasts movie, as well as Harry Potter 5, 6, 7A, and 7B, and he's currently listed as the director for Fantastic Beasts 3, 4, and 5. For the record, I will henceforth refer to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them as just Fantastic Beasts, and to its sequel as just The Crimes of Grindelwald. I'm very conflicted about this movie, so let me see if I can explain without this becoming a rambling mess. I make no promises. There's a great story being told in this movie, which makes sense as the only writing credit for both Fantastic Beasts movies is J.K. Rowling. The problem is that it's not being told very well. At the very least, it seems to be missing some stuff. Fantastic Beasts was very much a standalone movie, by which I mean that while we all know that it takes place in the same universe as the Harry Potter movies, it takes place in America 70 years prior to the events of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and doesn't lean on existing characters. There are references to the original Harry Potter movies, notably Newt's book, which shares its title with the movie, Hogwarts, Albus Dumbledore, but the only direct connection to the original Harry Potter movies is Grindelwald himself, and even then, Grindelwald only appears in visions of the past and not as a fully fleshed out character. The Crimes of Grindelwald does not hold to this pattern of distancing itself from the Harry Potter movies, and we see this in the trailers. Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, we're back in London at the Ministry of Magic. We get a couple of trips to Hogwarts. Albus Dumbledore plays a pivotal role, and we even get a couple of glimpses of Professor McGonagall. We also get to see a character that was never actually in the Harry Potter movies, but who played a central role in the events of the Sorcerer's Stone. Yes, that surprise is spoiled at the end of the second trailer, but I'll not ruin it here in case you haven't seen that trailer yet. I think because of these connections to stuff we're familiar with, 8 movies familiar with, there is an emotional connection to the events that center around Dumbledore. And let's be honest, while the focal point of the movie is Newt, the story is about Dumbledore. However, there is very clearly supposed to be a similar emotional connection to events involving returning characters from Fantastic Beasts and new characters. But while certainly being interesting story arcs, they just don't have the emotional punch they should have. That said, the stuff that does succeed at landing the aforementioned emotional punch lands hard, and left me very much looking forward to the upcoming sequels. I guess you could break it down like this. There's the main plot, which includes Dumbledore, played by Jude Law, Grindelwald, played by Johnny Depp, and Credence Barebone, played by Ezra Miller. The character of Newt Scamander, brilliantly reprised by Eddie Redmayne, is the proxy through which the main story is told, but he's not actually a part of it. This main plot is of course the punch that lands hard, and is the reason I'll be showing up for Fantastic Beasts 3. Along the way, there are 3 side plots, and this is where things get murky. First, there's Newt and the adorable relationship he has with Tina Goldstein, reprised by Catherine Waterston. This does have a great moment involving salamander eyes that gets totally stepped on by the following events, but not much else. Next, there's the sort of unrequited love triangle between Newt, his brother Theseus Scamander, played by Callum Turner, and Letta Lestrange, played by Zoe Kravitz. The setup for this actually began in Fantastic Beasts, and carries over to the Crimes of Grindelwald, but it just doesn't get the development required to allow viewers to get emotionally invested enough for the end result to matter much. Lastly, and most disappointing, is the relationship between returning characters Jacob, reprised by Dan Fogler, and Queenie, reprised by Alison Sudol. Even without the depth this story should have had, it lands a decent punch. But this, more than anything else in the movie, just gets sort of thrown in and feels almost like an afterthought, which I find odd since it was used to such great effect in Fantastic Beasts. I felt so bad for Jacob at the end of the first movie and should have been reduced to a blubbering mess by the end of this one, but I wasn't, It's not that I didn't care, but everything that happened between them was so slapdash that it was hard to get too worked up over it. I feel like I'm complaining too much, and I don't mean to be. Again, there is a great story being told in this movie, and I can't wait to see where it all goes. The acting is fantastic across the board, though I have to admit I'm not sure about Johnny Depp as Grindelwald, but I blame Pirates of the Caribbean for that. The special effects, both CGI and practical, are excellent, and the cinematography and set pieces are fantastic, as is the soundtrack. If you're a Harry Potter fan, The Crimes of Grindelwald is a must-see, and I would encourage you to see it in the theater. I honestly think that the events of this movie could actually have been split into 2 movies, and yes, I'm saying that knowing full well that there are already 3 more in the pipe. In the end, and I've struggled with this, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. I started at 3 out of 5, then moved to 3.5, and the more I thought about it, the better I liked the movie, and the more I really wanted to see it again. Seriously, I think if the movie was about 45 minutes longer, it would have gotten a 5 out of 5. Oh well. Anyway, that'll do. Thanks for watching, and as always, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you back here next week with another review.